All right, we're live. And I'm sending out the notifications. Of course, I should have done that first. Doop, doop, doop. Then here, enter, and enter. There we go. Okay. Yeah, hello everyone. This is the official Distant Worlds podcast, and we are back once again with my co-host Dr. Nagi,
Hello.
and our guest for now. The guests are the highlight, so I shouldn't say for now. So we have with us Alec, Turner, and Greaves. I think you are both from the Buckyball Racing Club, right? Say hello.
Hello. I kind of am.
Hello.
Greaves. I Greaves can probably count himself as a member of the Buckyball Racing Club, can't you?
Yeah, technically. I'm in the Discord.
Well, there you
Oh,
go.
hang on. I need to get someone on stage. We have another DJ coming on. Yeah. Hi, Thalanor.
Sorry, I'm
Anyway,
typing out the announcements. Yeah,
you did
Greece, you
everything,
are
so,
from the Elite Racers, right?
Yes, that's the one I joined originally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do we
There's a subtle difference, I guess.
yeah, do we want to start and talk about what each of these communities are? Let's start with the Buckyball Racing Club. I think it's a more well-known name than the other.
Yeah. I can talk to that one, and then maybe Greaves, you want to talk about your introduction to elite races.
Yeah,
So
sounds
yeah,
good.
okay, cool. So the Buckyball Racing Club has been around forever, really. I mean, officially since 3301. But when the game first launched, in fact, before it launched, a guy called Electric Z created some races that he called Buckyball runs. And the way they work is there's usually a forum post which describes it, and it'll involve a bunch of systems. So you start on a pad in one system, and then you have to jump to another system and land, and then take off and jump to another and land, and so on in a big circuit. Back to the beginning, and you take screenshots at each landing, and then you used to send those all to Electric Z, and he would check them all and mark them all and produce a leaderboard. And the whole thing would run for a week, and then at the end there's a leaderboard, and he would announce the winners. And he did 7 of those, and they gained quite a lot of cult status, I suppose. And then he left, and a bunch of us who really loved doing them, myself included, and people like Reiko and Osric, and created the Buckyball Racing Club. Officially, actually created by a guy called Draki, who's left the game now. So yeah, the idea was that we did the same sort of thing. Once every month or so, or a couple of months, somebody would come up with a race. They'd volunteer to maintain the leaderboard, and the race would run for a week. So it's a kind of time trial, really. We didn't do live racing. We did these time trials where people could take place whenever they wanted, and they'd submit evidence that they'd done what the race required. Yeah, and the only other thing I want to say about the Buckyball Racing Club, I suppose, is that it is the same racing club that you see in the checkered flag hollow ads that you see everywhere. That was me. Frontier did a competition to design hollow ads, and I knocked one up for the Buckyball Racing Club, and amazingly it won. So yeah, we have our banners everywhere now, which is nice. But yes, they are one and the same.
It's a bit of a shame that they never repeated that competition, so we couldn't get an ad for the hull seals in.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, there's a fuel rats one, isn't there? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a shame they didn't do it again, because it was very easy what you had to submit. It was just like two layers of a pretty simple image. But yeah, never again. Shame.
Right. We'll go into more detail later. For now, Greece, tell us a bit about the Elite Racers. On the other hand.
All right. Well, funny enough, I only really joined racing a few months ago because I'd always wondered about racing because exploration has always been one of my main things in Elite. And during exobiology, obviously, you drive around in the SRV quite a bit. So every now and then I would enjoy just racing in it, and I was always wondering if there's any organized racing in the game. So I did some Googling, and then I found the Elite Races. Joined them a few months ago, and it's a relatively small but tight-knit community of really enthusiastic guys that love racing in Elite, especially SRV Racing, well, ship racing as well. And they've basically taught me how to race, how to use ED Copilot, because I'd never actually used it before, and here we are.
Yeah, AD
Alrighty.
Copilot is a great app. I cannot praise it enough.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really good. I'm still exploring it. It's got so many options.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bunch of things. You keep discovering new stuff. I mean, because new stuff is getting added.
Yeah, it's amazing. Razafrag is like almost a full-time developer on it these days. He's sort of semi-retired, and he just seems to spend all his time working on it, which is great.
Yeah,
So,
but yeah, I haven't tried any of the time trials yet.
I have.
Don't even really
last
know
week.
how those work.
Yeah, we did get time trials accompanying this expedition now. There was multiple, I think, in the launch system actually, right?
Yeah. So I think, did VR 24/7 create a couple? So I created one. I did the Great Wall of China. Did you? Oh, Greaves, you did one, didn't you?
Yeah, I did the rendezvous rally at the
Yeah.
launch area.
And then we also did a live race on the launch day at the port. It was great fun.
Yeah, it was really good fun.
Uh,
Yeah, I really like live racing, but obviously it's got that thing of A, not everyone can make it because they're doing other things, and B, instancing, and so when it works and you get a bunch of people, it's great. But I suppose I'm a big fan of time trials because they're just there all the time, and people log in and want to do some racing. They can try and beat their personal best and that kind of thing.
yeah, so you hunt the times that you set and try to improve by going again and again.
Yeah, I think it becomes more a matter of trying to beat your personal best, and you've always got an eye on people above you on the leaderboard, I think, but setting personal goals, and also
There's always
beating
some
barriers.
competition.
Beating barriers is always a cool thing. Like, you get a race and it takes you, I don't know, 3 minutes, 11 seconds. You become obsessed about. You've got to get those 11 seconds off. You've got to be able to get under 3 minutes, surely. So those big number barriers become real fun challenges as well.
So the Buckyball Racing Club has done a lot of different races by now, and they are quite varied in how they work as well, right?
Yeah, so I think we've done over 100 now, and the nice thing is that because basically any gate, any waypoint, any kind of set thing that you have to do as part of the race, it can be anything in the game that you can screenshot as long as the time is visible somewhere. So it can be buying cargo, it can be flying through an installation tunnel, it can be opening the door of a Thargoid, surface site. It could be activating a Guardian ruin or something. So it can be anything. So basically, the the variety of things you can do in a bucketball race is huge. Whereas, well, at least the time trials in ED Copilot are quite well. They're limited by they have to be on the surface because you've only got coordinates on the surface, and they basically have to involve passing through places or landing at things.
So what's is there a sort of common staple that kind of keeps returning to Buckyball Racing Club?
I suppose the classic format is to have maybe five or six different starports or surface ports that you have to land at, typically finishing at the same port you started at, and then you sort of weave themes around that. So one of the most recent races we did, Mountains of Madness. So people were making all these crazy colonization places, surface ports right on top of mountains and things. So I think it was Edelgard von Rhein's race. He picked out. They picked out like 4 or 5 of the most interesting colonization systems that people had made, and then you basically had to race around those. So that theme of starting at the starport, racing and landing at 5, a bunch of others, and coming back. And one of the nice things you can do with that, which maybe appeals to the explorers listening to this, is that quite often the route won't be prescribed. It'll be visit these 5 places, but in any order. So then you get really fun stuff about trying to work out the best route, particularly for your jump range, because it all comes down to jumps. Every jump is 45 seconds. So if you can save a jump, you can knock 45 seconds off your time. So it comes down to clever routing and things like starting with an empty fuel tank so that you've got, a bigger jump range. And so, yeah, fun stuff like that.
So DJ Creep has joined us now.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
No, you're good.
Yeah, no worries.
So when you talk about optimizing these things, so since you have to do jumps, you have to do super cruise, and you also have to fly in real space. What's your main go-to ship that you use for this? Because you have to optimize quite a few things, right?
Yeah, that's
Also,
interesting.
I'm curious in
Funnily enough,
general about how buckyballing works. I mean, neutron jumping takes its time, so I think I really still can't wrap my head around how fast this still is, despite all
Yeah.
the kind of limitations you usually have. Sorry, you go.
No, funnily enough, neutron jumping often doesn't come into it unless unless the race happens to pass through Jackson's Lighthouse, because they're nearly always in the bubble. So then you're looking at white dwarfs. Now I really like white dwarfs, and I can't resist taking a route through a white dwarf because I always in my head think it's gonna save me time. Like you can, it only actually costs about maybe 8 or 9 seconds to supercharge in a white dwarf on top of your normal jump time. So it's not a big overhead actually, and you're obviously saving potentially a jump, but in practice, on a route that's quite short, you actually very rarely save a jump. So I'm one of the few that will always use white dwarfs, and often to no avail whatsoever, apart from costing myself time. But you never know; it pays off occasionally. I guess you were saying about what's the most of those 3 bits, the most interesting part, and what ship do I use? It's often jump range, which is a bit of a shame actually, but it's often jump range. So I used to race a lot in a DBX, and now a Mandalay is an absolute killer for buckyball races. The other thing, and this is what normally makes the biggest factor, and people don't necessarily realize this, is going faster than the 6-second rule is where you win a buckyball race. So I'm sure we all know the 6-second rule now for Super Cruise approach.
Yeah.
And basically,
Yeah,
you can approach
usually the safe.
if you're racing, you can approach a station getting that ETA like 3 seconds, 2 seconds. If you're Shea Blackwood, 1 second, by doing like a big corkscrew. So you're constantly heaving back on the stick to pull yourself into this really tight corkscrew, which kind of keeps that Super Cruise acceleration under control. So where normally when you go under 6 seconds, you'd start to accelerate out of control and go straight past your target. You can actually manage that by pulling yourself into this tight corkscrew. And if you get it just right,
you can actually.
You can hold it at 3 seconds. You can spiral in on a 3-second ETA all the way in, right down to the surface actually, and that will save you masses of time, like minutes potentially.
Okay, on a surface approach, I haven't tried that yet, but I am a lazy person. I tend to use Super Cruise Assist, but I only use it to time the dropout or abuse a bit of the game mechanics, because you can actually do the same, like go below the 6 seconds, and it only engages once you face the station. So if you do it really well, you turn towards the station in the perfect moment, it will trigger the dropout without being at a safe speed.
Yeah.
It depends
Definitely,
really.
I wanted to
There's
comment
Where you
on the same thing.
usually go for a loop of shame, it will drop off.
Yeah.
Off there.
There are stations
Sorry,
where it works, and
okay.
there are stations where it doesn't work. In my experience, it depends a lot on your angle to the station. Like if the station is moving perpendicular to your approach, then you often miss. So that's something you need to watch out for. And if you do miss, there's also a chance that you crash into a planet, which is an even bigger time loss.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good for racing. It's not reliable enough. But I like doing it.
If you, I
Yeah,
mean, since it's a time trial, you can test it, right? If you know that it always works at this particular station, then you can use it. Yeah. If you know that it doesn't work at that particular station, then you do it differently.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things we ban, at least in buckyball races, and one of them is Super Cruise Assist. Partly because of that. Partly because it feels a bit glitchy. It feels a bit not exactly an exploit, but it doesn't feel quite right. And we really want the races to be about skill and not just like who manages to get their Super Cruise
That's
Assist.
something I do not have.
So we tend to ban that, and we tend to ban docking computers as well because hey, it's not in the spirit. It's you're meant to be a racer living life on the edge here, not cruising in on a docking computer. So none of that.
Yeah, but I guess to really get good at this, you really need a HOTAS. So I don't think it's really doable with a controller or keyboard and mouse, right?
You mean the Super Cruise Assist thing you're talking about?
No, just the regular racing. I mean, I
No,
think it's gonna be hard
absolutely
to
not.
officially
So,
throttle down.
Shea Blackwood, who is one of the all-time fastest buckyball racers, he normally wins every single race, is keyboard and mouse.
Oof. Okay. So yeah.
So yeah,
Excuse.
no excuses.
I take everything back I said.
It's the same as with Trackmania, where different people use different input devices and they all have great results. There's no.
Yep.
You play with whatever feels best for you.
It's like in that thing I was describing about doing the corkscrew. I use a HOTAS, and so getting that right, and it changes for every single planet because it's all based around gravity as well. So to get it right depends on kind of putting your HOTAS in just the right place, and so to hold an analog stick in just the right place is what's the word? It's like, I mean, there's a lot of skill involved, and it's easy to get that wrong. Whereas I think one of the things about keyboard and mouse, certainly with the keyboard side of that, is that it becomes almost binary. Like how many taps do you do on the accelerate key and things. So I think some of the keyboard and mouse stuff is actually more repeatable. And I don't know. We should have got Shay on to or someone that uses keyboard and mouse to speak to that. But I think.
I usually only use
yeah,
my set keys for 100%, 75%, 50%, and 0% speed in Super Cruise.
Well, my speed settings are full speed, full throttle, 100%, 75, and 0.
You don't have a 50% one?
But that's all I
do
need
like
for everyday use.
I do like the 50% one for planetary approaches, because very often I am coming down a bit too fast, and then I can regulate it a bit better. The 50% one slow down a bit more.
But yeah, Chang just mentioned he's playing with keyboard and mouse. I think I knew that, but I'm not sure. But yeah, Chang, if you want, you can come and talk to us if you want to give testimony about that stuff.
What chat are you looking at?
Great Hall.
Oh.
So this is interesting. Something like the Mamba, that's the fastest ship in the game, although it's got the third worst jump range, would be terrible for racing then.
Oh, the Mamba's awful. I love the look of it, and I really wanted the Mamba to be a great racing ship, but it's terrible. It's not even the fastest. It's like I don't know what it
I
is.
didn't
It
even
reminds
bring
me
it
of like an
on.
American muscle car or something. It looks great and it goes in a straight line really well, but God help you if you try and turn around a corner.
Yeah,
in it.
and that's a good comparison.
Well, thank you for that. That's very interesting. You figure it would be a good racing ship, and I guess it's not.
No, it's not.
It should be a lot faster than it is, to be honest. Like even in a straight line, it doesn't hold up to many other ships.
For surface racing, I mean, and we know like the thing I've just created at Rendezvous Point, the Rendezvous Raceway, which is a nice twisty turny canyon race. It's basically a toss up, I think, between the Eagle and the Viper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I think
Viper's
the
faster,
Vipers.
but
I
you're
think the top speed, if you absolutely min max the hell out of it, it's got a ludicrous speed.
yeah, you can nudge it just over 900, I think. The Viper.
You can get it no, like 1100 upwards.
No, I would contest that. You can probably.
There's videos proving it. You can
Are you
definitely
sure they're not speed bowling?
Nope.
Okay.
So
I would
that's
have to
also
see
what
it.
I remember is at
wouldn't be able to,
900.
you wouldn't be able to take this. You wouldn't be able to take the ship on a trip. You know what I mean? It's so.
Yeah, I'd have
Yeah,
to see evidence of
and
that.
yeah,
I mean, I think
know
I
what
think
you're
the top
talking
speed
about.
was like 900
Ghost
and 20 or
Draft
something.
did a bit on it. Ghost Draft did a bit on it.
Um,
I think it's
Wasn't
1200.
speed bowling it a little bit to slowly gain speed over time. You can't get a boost speed up to 1100. Not a straight boost speed.
Yeah,
Ghost
not
Draft
under
did a bit on
normal circumstances. What is it? 931 is the maximum for both the Viper
Yeah.
and the Imperial Eagle.
It's quite hard to
That
get
there
that sort of,
are
actually.
there are some tricks with gravity and stuff where you can push it over that.
Yeah, you can do like a sort of, I forget what you call it, but like an odd translational vector with FA off, so you're going slightly diagonally, and particularly with gravity, you can get that to, you can increase speed almost infinitely over time. I mean, people used to speed bowl at like 10,000 meters a second or something. I can't remember. I haven't done one for ages. We should do one. We should do another speed bowl, actually.
Yeah, I did invite Primetime Casual, but I think I reminded him too late about the carrier's departure, so you kind of missed it.
That's a shame.
So he'll probably not be here, so we'll have to organize that on our own. We need a nice high-gravity planet for that.
Yeah, although some of the newer ships, like the Mandalay, they seem to actually do it much more easily than I remember.
Have you tried the Caspian yet with that?
No, I confess I haven't. Have you got one, Greaves? You're flying a Caspian, aren't you?
No, I don't have a Caspian.
I do have one, but I
I-
haven't tried the speedballing with it yet. I don't know if it behaves differently.
Yeah, funny enough, speed bowling used to be about a fairly gentle angle of attack, actually, so I don't know that 75 degrees would help you very much. You'd hit the ground before you got up to speed.
Yeah, but also the thrusters work differently on surfaces. So
Yeah, they do, don't they? Interesting. Yeah, we should try it. Yeah, mine wasn't ready before the expedition, so I didn't bring it.
I know with my Caspian, I've been able to pull out of a dive onto a planet a lot easier than a Mandalay, but the Mandalay just handles a lot better. You can turn a lot better.
Yeah, that's what I was saying actually way back when I was saying about this that saving time in Super Cruise and the corkscrew thing. So the Mandalay is pretty much the king at that. I mean, actually, the Cobra Mark V is fantastic as well, but Mandalay
It's
is
crazy for that, yeah,
amazing
Mandalay.
at that.
So are you using the Super Cruise overcharge? I assume yes, right?
Yeah, SEO is great. I love it. I bet everyone loves it. I haven't heard many detractors of SEO. It's fantastic. And what's really nice is like when we were building Buckyball races, generally you would avoid, if you were landing at some outpost or something, you'd try and avoid outposts or spaceports that were a long way out, like 10,000 light seconds or something, because there was no point. There was no skill-based thing you could do to make that, whatever it was, 1 minute, 2 minute journey faster. So as far as a race goes, you're just sitting there, full throttle, chugging along in Supercruise for absolutely no reason whatsoever, because there's nothing you can do skill-wise to do that faster, so completely pointless. But SEO has revolutionized that, because now it's all like this nice sort of Twitch-based racing game about when do you shut it off, you know, and if you shut it off too late, then you go to you massively overshoot and you've got to do a big swing back round. But if you shut it off too early, then you've still got a long Supercruise. It's great. I love Supercruise Overcharge. It's
Yeah,
revolutionized.
I think the only negativity around SEO is like SEO optimization is what about all the other ships that have been left behind where they don't have it, so therefore are they obsolete? You know, I think that's the
Yeah, it's a really interesting discussion, isn't it? I mean, obviously they can use it, but they're a bit wobbly and they burn through fuel and heat up a lot.
fuel is disgusting. The fuel burning is
Yeah.
horrendous. Like I had my DBX out, and I was like, oh, it's 4,000 LS away. I'll just hit this, and being able to nearly annihilate your entire 16-ton fuel tank is quite scary, especially when you're out, on a journey like this, right? Like, I mean, I know that we've got the parameters are different now, but it's you see your fuel tank just go.
Yeah, it just disappears. Yeah, I bet the fuel rats have had a lot more calls since Supercruise Overcharge first
Oh,
came
I
out.
bet. Contest
Well, that
Funny
seems
using it
bad.
in the Imperial Courier as well. Like the Imperial
was gonna say-
Courier overheats after a few seconds with using SEO, so you just leave a trail of heat sinks everywhere.
That also seems to add to the racing too. I mean, do you keep your fuel tank topped off so you can use SEO, or do you want to keep it not so topped off so you get a better jump range? I mean, it seems to add a little bit more to it now.
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess what I'd like to see, I might try and do one, is do a buckyball race and actually ban the newer ships. You know, because obviously the newer ships, it's not really an issue, but I think that would be really fun to have a race where we were back in the old ships. You were having to deal with the wobble in SEO, and you are having to very carefully judge how much fuel you burn on SEO versus how much you leave for your jumps. Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting.
Welcome,
Have you
Jan,
guys
on
got any?
stage.
I like-
Sorry. Go on.
There's less things going into the races that the elite racers do, right, Greaves?
Pardon? Sorry.
There's less things to consider in terms of ship builds and stuff for elite races, right?
Yeah, Elite Racers is mostly just canyon racing with ships and SRV races. So, I mean, for canyon racing with ships, obviously there's still a lot of engineering that goes into it. And there's regular discussion about what engineering builds are better than the other, but yeah, for SRV racing, it's relatively easy.
So what do you enjoy more, SRV racing or ship racing?
SRV racing, personally. Just because you get to, like, it adds a little bit of an exploration element where you get to drive along on planets, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, the SRV's my bag really. I love the SRV. I know people hate it, but you can grow to love it given enough time.
I think the one
It's
thing
very-
that people hate is where when you spin out.
Yeah, I mean, you can justify it a little bit because obviously most of the planets are on a low gravity. People think of like 30 meters per second as not that fast, but it's ludicrous. Like you're trying to go 100 miles an hour on ice in a 0.2 G planet. No wonder it spins out, really. But also, I mean, I think there are some design problems with the SRV. It's kind of back heavy, and its its double front wheels mean that it kind of wants to go backwards. Those sort of want to be at the back, so
It's really not made for driving, funny enough. It's made
Low
for
ground
flying
Well,
more than
low
driving.
ground
No, I
plants
mean
on the
it's
SRV
great
are
for driving
nightmare.
slowly. If you're crawling, if you're sort of crawling around and going, you know, you can drive over massive boulders, and it's got a decent turning circle because of that opposite wheel lock on the back wheels. So it's a good little rover. But the trouble is, people open the throttle and then it just spins around quite a lot.
Yeah,
It flies
like
pretty well too.
material gathering back in the day, like on low grav planets, was an absolute nightmare. I actually opted for like lower metal content planets with higher gravity to not have to deal with like every time I hit a freaking pebble that I'd go veering off into space. Like it's yeah, it's a nightmare.
I don't drive it, but do you find the Scorpion? I hear a lot of people saying the Scorpion basically solved that problem because it's so much more stable.
I've not tried a Scorpion for
Yeah.
map
You know-
gathering, to be honest.
I've only
It's
tried
definitely
it
more
in
stable.
the Destruction Derby so far.
It's much easier to control. But the problem with the Scorpion is that it doesn't have any airtime.
Yeah.
It's much heavier. That's probably what makes it easier to control and much more, yeah,
Am I right in thinking
balanced.
it
But
doesn't have the wave
no
scanner
jumping.
either?
No, it
No, it
doesn't.
does not.
Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it?
Oh, really? I hadn't even noticed.
Yeah, it doesn't really suit it. It isn't really suited for scanning.
No.
Yeah,
purposes.
how can you gather materials
Yeah, you can't.
in the black without
Yeah.
a scanner?
I
Pick a
use it for
direction.
when I'm doing exo.
Pick a direction
use
and
it.
keep fingers crossed.
It's perfect for exo when your SRV has been pretty damaged and you got to swap into something else real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
That's why I
what did
bought
you say
both.
earlier that the Scorpion is good for mountain climbing?
It'll
Well-
go up a steeper slope.
Oh, really?
Not much, but a bit. Yeah, I think the Scarab sort of grinds to a halt at about, I want to say like
Yeah, because
68
it's so
degrees
back
or something.
heavy.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the Scorpion will go up a 75-degree slope.
No, Scorpion is the one to have for mountain climbing, definitely.
But
I
the-
maintain I
Takes
could
pleasure for
probably
Scorpion.
beat most Scorpions, you know, by using the boosters and taking
Yeah.
a run up.
'Cause we did after the race on launch day. We did the vertical tower climbing with scarabs, where you
Oh, did you have a go at that? It's amazing. Isn't it?
yeah, you tilt back beyond 90 degrees, so the thrusters push you towards the wall, and then you accelerate, and then like do little jumps up,
Yeah.
bonk bonk bonk, against the wall. And I found it quite difficult to maintain a straight line while doing that. So my
Yeah.
biggest problem was veering off to the sides.
Yeah, it is. It's really disorientating, and it is hard to see. Yes, yes. For people that don't know that are listening, the boosters on the SRV they swap direction when your SRV tilts past 90 degrees. I think the original design idea for that from Frontier was that no matter which way up you were on the ground, so suppose you accidentally landed on your roof, your thrusters will always push you away from the ground, is the idea. So whether you're upside down or the right way up, your thrusters always push you away from the ground. But it has this nice little kind of flip side thing that you can, if you drive towards a vertical wall and then tilt back, you jump in the air a little bit and then tilt back past 90, your thrusters will push your SRV against the wall, and it'll push your wheels against the wall, and then you can literally just drive up the wall, and you just keep tilting back past 90 and pushing yourself against the wall and driving, and you can drive straight up a vertical wall.
Nice, I
amazing.
didn't know.
Sounds like something out of the wacky races.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know who worked that out. I don't know who was the first person to work that out, actually, but it's very cool.
There's also other tricks with the SRV that you can do when you talk about thrusters and flying. What I learned, and it's something I think I first tried on the Simulates 2 actually, with Chang together, if you remember right, is the art of hitting a slope when you land, an upward slope, so you bounce up high. When you tilt forward, I think it was like 60 degrees or something, and boost, and you build up
that had a
more and
name,
more
didn't it?
speed, and with each additional bounce you get higher up and you get even more speed until
Yeah,
eventually, if
What
you
did
do
we
it
call it?
right, you can reach a stable orbit.
Yeah, yeah. If the gravity, so basically, you can build up to hundreds of meters a second, and if the gravity is low and you catch a nice bounce doing like 300 meters a second, you can absolutely bounce the SRV into orbit, which is pretty funny.
yeah, and you're using essentially the same techniques that you use for normal SRV racing, especially on long straights.
Yeah, 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 yeah. There's quite a fun thing you can do. I used to do it whenever the servers were offline. There's a forum thread for it somewhere called the Patch Day Speed Camera Challenge. So people forget about this stuff, but in one of the menus there's like all the challenge scenarios and training missions and things which you can often which you can often still run even when the servers are offline because they're not like online parts of the game. So there's a, what's it called? It's called, I don't know, it's called like the SRV challenge scenario or something, and it's that old training mission where you start off in the SRV and there's a base and you just have to go and drive down and scan it, and it's just there to teach you how to use the SRV really and how to use the scanner. But it takes place on a perfectly normal planet, so you can ignore the mission completely and then just see how fast you can go, and it's quite fun because synthesis. So it's basically, ultimately you are going to blow up because you're taking damage. So it's a nice little challenge. I think Skur, who's the single best SRV driver I've ever seen, he managed to get it into orbit in that training mission, which is extraordinary.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, hello, Chang.
Hello. I was posting in the Great Hall General about the wave hopping that Nagi was describing.
You're a bit
don't even-
quiet. Can you turn yourself up?
How about that?
Still half asleep.
That's better.
All right. So
Yeah.
the wave hopping was literally just like, it was something we almost found by accident, because in doing a circumnavigation at some point of some rock, we found that like basically jumping and then tilting your nose down and hitting your thrusters pushed you forward as much as it pushed you up at the same time.
Yeah.
And then when you came down, if you landed it and then just immediately hit your thrusters just flat to go up again, you would actually increase your speed like a certain, it's like a percentage increase. So it's weird. But it means that basically you bounce in that first jump, and then your next jump, you jump twice as high and about 50% further. And the next jump, you jump another like 50% higher and 50% further than the last time. And that keeps growing until you're just going like 360 meters a second.
Yeah.
And you're 2 kilometers above the surface.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that's how I drive the SRV everywhere. That's what I do.
Oh, that's how I explore.
And but the other note that I put in the Great Hall was the because you were talking about the Scarab is difficult, it's because the engine's on the back. If you drive backwards down a mountain, because the top speed in the SRV is like 32 meters per second or whatever it is, right?
35, 36, I think.
You can triple that going backwards if it's downhill.
This is true, actually. Yeah, I have
You
seen.
you can hit almost 100 meters a second just going backwards downhill in a Scarab.
Actually, might have been you, Chank, who actually I saw do this. So yeah.
So what do you pop the turret view so you can see where you're going?
You just kind of hold onto your pants and do it. You
That works
basically
too.
you basically aim yourself when you're somewhere and you're like, I hope I got it right.
The funny thing is that perfect mixture between serene and exciting. Because once you're in the air, once you're soaring, then it gets very kind of it gets very serene, like you know,
Yeah,
playing some
almost
calm music
tranquil,
and
isn't
just
it?
floating there. Yeah,
And then
exactly.
and
But
then you
then
get
you're
that
also trying
whistling
to sort
sound
out
as
your
the
next jump.
ground's.
Yeah, it's funny like that.
It's like
But
90% tranquility and 10% absolute panic as you hurtle towards the ground and try and find something nice to bounce
Yeah,
off.
I wasn't aware that
exactly.
wave hopping was still a thing because of the surface changes with Odyssey. They put more rocks on the ground, and there's more things to bump into.
Yeah, it's
Oh
harder.
yeah,
Like
and some areas
more
as well.
little things to bump into. It's not like big rocks or weird mountains or stuff like that, but like even just a 1 foot tall like rock that you would drive over normally, when you're going 200 meters a second and you're crashing down at this thing from a kilometer in the sky, that rock can mess you up real good.
Yeah, it can stop you dead. Like from 200 meters a second, it can literally stop you dead with a hideous crunching sound.
I think we had another name for it when back when it was discovered, but
Flyving
I don't know what it
is
was.
what we tend to call it. It's sort of this cross between flying and driving. So yeah,
Definitely
flyving.
was something else.
There's also the problem that when you get too high, and you reach the super cruise dropout altitude or what it is.
Oh yeah, the super cruise drop. Yeah, you lose control of your SRV because it's no longer attached to the surface of the planet. Your gravity reference is no longer the planet, and you just float off into space.
Yeah, and the only thing
Yeah,
you
it's a
can
shame,
do
really.
at that point is just relog. And to relog, if you relog, you respawn and you're stationary. You don't move. And then someone has to come with a ship and push you down until you reach the point where the gravity snaps back and then you start falling.
What happens if you get out? Can you get out at that point?
No, you can't get out.
Well, you can't get out because you're not on the ground. But the other problem is you can't get out because your reference is no longer it's no longer directly perpendicular to the surface of the planet, but like your motion to the planet. So you can be flying off the planet at like you could be flying off the planet faster than most ships can fly. So like 1,000, 10,000 meters per second, because the planet is now moving away from you. You've lost reference.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I found I parked my SRV on top of my ship and it teleported me to the ground, which was interesting. It didn't get me out on top of the ship, so I was just wondering.
Have you guys ever seen? It was quite a time ago now, but people that they managed to get an SRV into that state where you can bat it around with a ship in space, and they basically managed to bat it all the way in through a mail slot eventually.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so they basically did the same thing as the SRV launching, which I think also the first time we found that Nagi was with geyser jumping, wasn't it?
Well, geysers are certainly a good way to start it off, because you get this nice base altitude that you can use.
Yeah, we would literally just drive into a really high pressure geyser, shoots you into space, and if the planet is small enough and the geyser is powerful enough, it'll push you above that super cruise drop altitude, and then you're in space. But I think the guys who did the station one, that was tricky because they had to find a station that was close to a surface, and they literally physically lifted, like with two Anacondas, lifted the SRV into space and then slowly pushed it towards it.
It took them hours, didn't it? Like hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
A favourite little trick of mine is to you land your ship like anywhere on the ground, and then you park the SRV on the back of it, and then you just dismiss your ship, and it takes off with your SRV on the back, so you can get quite a good boost you know, and it's really cool because you can use that to get loads of altitude for all sorts of things. So you can use it to, I've used it in the past. You know, when occasionally in the Thargoid War you'd get capital ships spawning over ground ports. So you
Yeah.
can basically use it to jump on the back of capital ships, which is really fun.
Oh.
And there's
Okay.
also there's a penal colony where a Thargoid interceptor turns up. It still happens even now, actually.
I think I saw a video from you actually about the
Yeah,
of
where
the
I got on the back
interceptor,
of it.
but I haven't seen anyone jump onto a Farragut or something yet.
Oh, I'll find my video and I'll post it in. I guess I'll post it in the Great Hall. Got that.
That's
somewhere, I'm sure.
amazing. I didn't think about that.
If it can be done,
Yeah.
you've got a video about it.
Yeah, I usually do. If I can remember what I called it. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Awkward silence moment. Yeah. we
Yeah,
lost
I
the
googled the
topic.
video. Great radio.
Yeah, I mean some silence to just ponder and digest the stuff we just talked about, of course. But
So I really just wanted to pop in and mostly
for
say,
questions right now.
you know, add my 2 cents to the stuff you're talking about, but also say it's good to hear that a lot of these things that felt initially kind of erased and wiped out by Odyssey, that they haven't been, that there are still weird things that commanders are
Yeah, no, I
finding
hear
and
you.
doing and breaking the
it is
game
nice.
somehow.
Yeah,
Just
it is
having
nice.
fun.
That stuff all still works. The surface of Odyssey has just made it harder, like you say, the rocks and stuff. And the fact that the canyons are a little bit smaller and the mountains are a bit smaller has taken some of the kind of magnitude of the adventures that you can have down a notch. But yeah, it all still works. You know, I've circumnavigated whole planets in Odyssey, and it was still a really fun experience. So
Yeah,
well,
we gotta try and find another potato world so we can repeat the circumnavigation challenge
Nice, yeah,
on
I'm
the
down.
expedition again. So I think last time we found one that had a 127 kilometer diameter, or was it radius? But it was really small. And it only took like 3 hours or something.
Yeah, I just remembered that the circumnavigation is how we found the bouncing, the fliving, the wave hopping, whatever you want to call it, was because it's like I actually sat in an SRV. I sat in an SRV for 38 hours and drove around a planet. And I told myself there has to be a better way.
There's also a secret badge that you get on EDSM if you submit your planetary circumnavigation.
There is. That's down to me. You have to tell me, and then I can tell Anthor, I think it is, and then he can issue the badge. Was it the Quantum World that you did on the DW2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm just looking at my
I did another one on oh gosh, one of the Saturn moons.
Is it called
I don't remember which one.
There's a little moon called Hyaka that a lot of people circumnavigated that I think is a Sol moon.
I haven't actually looked at Sol in Odyssey yet, really, except for the Titan graveyard.
Where can you land in Sol since Odyssey? Anything new? I don't even know that.
No, I mean it's the same limitations. I suppose you can land on. Are there atmospheric? I'm trying to think now if there's any thin atmospheric worlds in Sol. Probably not, actually.
There should be, theoretically.
Because Odyssey obviously opened those up where we couldn't land on those before.
I don't remember anything in Seoul that I can land on if I haven't been there in, I don't know, maybe a year.
Maybe I can check that in game. Hold on.
One of the things that's really hard for racing, I'm curious to know if we've got any real scientists on DW3 that can solve this for us. But finding places, well, obviously the dream is to find a really good racetrack that's perma-day, so it's on like a tidally locked body or something, you know. But that's quite hard because often you get tidally locked moons, but they're locked to the planet, and the planet itself isn't tidally locked, so it still doesn't work. But being able to predict for any given point on a planet when it would be daylight and when it wouldn't. I wish the game gave us the ability to like fast forward time. Do you know what I mean? So that you can fast forward to like next Tuesday or something and see whether a particular part of the planet is going to be daylit or not.
You
Yeah,
don't
we
just
do
hold,
actually have
you
particular
don't
coordinates.
just hold 2 Coke cans in your hands and just spin them around and you're like,
No,
1, 2, okay, it'll be there.
I mean, we do actually have within the organisers an app that can do that. One of our people, JBL, actually has a degree in math, so that's how we managed to put one together. I'd be fair, I've been using it for like 5 expeditions in a row now, so yeah,
awesome! I'd be really, really, really interested.
it's not
in
a
that.
state secret or anything, but it's just like, yeah,
No,
just,
but
I'll
if you
give it
DM
to you
me
willingly.
or
Don't worry
something,
about that.
I'd love to know that because we have this all the time. We plan a race, and it's like a bit almost potluck whether it's going to be. You guys did really well with the launch system. That was beautiful. The way the sun came up like a day before or something. That was such magnificent timing. It was lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
the
was a lot
launch
of
site was very
scouting
deliberately
done.
picked, wasn't it, for that?
Mhm.
But it was also a certain amount of luck as well, because we didn't 100% know it would actually sync up as well as that. But
Right.
we had some idea a few days before that it actually would be. But
It
the
was
site
close,
was
wasn't
obviously
it?
picked by competition, so it wasn't, 100% the sort of this was planned. It was like a good amount of planning and a good amount of luck as well.
Sure. I guess that was a different kind of racing, what we did with the Shoulder of Orion.
What did you do there?
Yeah, we raced to Orion,
Oh,
but
yeah.
with colonization.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. Yeah, right. A
a
colonization.
different kind of race, yeah. A very big
Yeah.
logistical race with a lot of attention. I mean, if you're like the architects, like literally sitting, waiting, watching this thing to completion, it's like it is actually quite nerve-wracking because you have to pay complete attention at all times, and it's tricky because trying to stop people from sniping you. So yeah, it's a different kind of race, definitely.
It is funny. I mean, I think it was actually the show title of Live Radio a few weeks back. But you can turn anything into a race, more or less. Like,
Yeah.
because I found on the first leg of DW3, and I sort of and it was like a week, was it? I think it was a week, just under. And I kind of logged in, and my carrier wasn't. I was on the Odysseus, and it wasn't going anywhere. And I thought, I wonder where the other one is. So I jumped ahead to the to Distant Suns, and then it was jumping like every 15, 20 minutes, and it was just really fun to just race it to the next stop and be there to see it arrive, and then jump off again and race it to the next one.
Yeah.
So apparently,
as
I was wrong. You can land on Mercury and Sol.
As you were saying about race, and I was joining the chat, VC, what have you. I heard you talking about SCO races, and that is definitely one of the newer forms of racing. And it does have a lot more skill than you would think, and obviously ship selection is a good part of that. But even then, it's like you've got to make sure you come out of Super Cruise at some point, and that's also another skill in itself.
Yeah, so we've done an
um,
amazing race actually. I don't know whether obviously I don't know what's planned for DW3, so I don't know if you've got any of these planned. But we did
yeah,
a buckyball race. It was like ring racing. So we had a system with 11, I think it was 11 ringed bodies in it. And basically the gate for the race, if you like, is the gap between the planet and the first ring. And you had to go through all those gaps in order. So you had to go body 1 through the gap, body 2 through the gap. And what's really fun is like with SCO, and also because the bodies aren't necessarily, obviously they're not all in a straight line. They're all orbiting, so they're all over the place. So you're like you go zooming through the gap between the body and the ring of planet 1, and then body 2 might be behind you. So then you're kind of flipping round and then a burst of SCO to body 2, and then obviously disengaging it at just the right moment and then cutting through that ring. And I guess if you're really bold, you could even try SCOing straight through the gap, and it's really good. It's really good fun race.
Yeah, we do have at least one SEO race planned in the future. I think the expedition I did before this, Apollo 14, was actually the first one that I'm aware of to actually do an SEO race. So I was kind of early to the party for that one for once. But yeah, it was definitely a future plan for us right now.
Yeah, I'd love to make it. Unfortunately, there's no way of like time trialing that because there's nothing in the journal to say you've passed through that gap. So
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just like in terms of journal stuff, yeah, it's not so good. It just has to. Some of it has to be taken really on the trust of the person. But then again, one of the main things I've often pointed out to people, the difference between sort of like Buckyball style racing and Explorer racing is that it's a bit more casual, a bit more low key. Is that you can often tell who the winner is, but sometimes you can't tell who the winner is, and it doesn't matter as much because it's not. It's really for fun. It's not really the glory of the win. You know.
I mean, although we try and get the leaderboards accurate for Buckyball, we more so in the past. It doesn't really happen so much these days, but we did try and sort of avoid prizes of any sort, other than the glory of winning, because once you start like involving prizes, and particularly things that are quite desirable, like maybe even physical prizes, then it can get a bit unpleasant. Do you know what I mean? If somebody does something that's considered ever so slightly cheating, or if it comes down to like a matter of 1 or 2 seconds, then it all gets a bit.
Well, yeah.
It all gets a bit nasty.
Or even worse, if there's a dispute about something. So you say some kind of technicality that's in a grey area in the rules, and there's a whole to do. Yeah, I can see how that could spiral very easily.
Yeah. Whereas, like you say, when it's for fun, it doesn't matter really.
Yeah. But I think that's always the key part about this is like we do all these things for fun. We're not even the sort of exploring and scanning, even the science stuff. We are kind of doing this for fun, and it's like that's the whole thing. Because I know some people I see in chat people sometimes getting carried away about certain things or taking things like way too seriously. So I'm like, relax. We're all here to have a good time. Everyone's trying their best to make everyone has a good time. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about whether it has been definitely decided yet, but there was mention of doing canyon races, but then there was talk of there not being any canyon races because there are not any viable canyons anymore.
I know where this comes from, but there are actually some planned for DW3. They will not be as epic as they were in Horizons. That's the thing. I can understand why a lot of people don't necessarily want to plan them. It's literally a case-by-case basis. It's like, I recently found some that I think are kind of passable. They're not, like I say, but anyone who played in Horizon Zero thinking like it's not the same, it isn't the same, but there are some that still look pretty decent, not epic.
As of 6:15 p.m. this evening, I've released a time trial for ED Copilot called the Rendezvous Raceway, and it's an awesome canyon on 1B in Rendezvous Point. So there's kind of bits of terrain that look a bit like cracked mud from above the planet. So it's a really nice zigzaggy canyon, and it's not like deep or narrow like the old Hooning canyons in Horizons. I mean. But when you're trying to do it fast in a Viper, the walls in the canyon are just as deadly.
Yeah, there's currently 3 smoldering wrecks of an Imperial Eagle in there from when I was testing it out.
Excellent, good.
Nice.
Look, you can say it's all about fun
that.
and enjoying yourself, but 4 hours 19 minutes from Seoul to Colonia in an unengineered ASP, number 2 here. All right, I'm just saying. Just saying.
That's pretty good.
That's a stupid number I've held on to for years.
Yeah, but someone did it in like an hour earlier this week.
No, so there have been multiple classes for this now. There's the unengineered, there's unengineered anacondas, engineered, whatever you want. And
oh God, are you talking about the Saj run and all the different Yeah, the leaderboards on that are crazy.
Yeah, so there's different routes for either Seoul to Saje, which now has a station, or Seoul to Colonia. And I for a while, I don't know if it's true anymore, but I just casually joined doing my neutron thing, because this is the other thing too. There's a rank for using neutron boosting and not using neutron boosting. So I'm in a very specific zone of unengineered, non-Anaconda ship, Gen 1, so it's an ASP, but still using neutron boost. So it's like, I'm in a realm where there's only like 12 people competing, so being number 2 doesn't mean a lot.
Yeah, I do feel quite sorry for Reiko, who manages those leaderboards, because every time Frontier, release something new like the Caspian, it's like, oh god, that's going to mess up all the records. I'm going to have to start a new leaderboard for, I expect the Caspian's going to have its own.
I still remember when the Crate and the Mark II came out, and it was just like every single rank for everything was just crate. Every long distance jumping record was crates.
Yeah, easily, obviously going to be Caspians. Yeah. We were talking about like little cheats and exploits and things that people can do. I guess the record's been broken now, but for a long time, the standing record to Colonia. I mean, it was a really good run. I forget who the guy was now, but it was a brilliant run, brilliant route plotting. So, no disrespect, but what I really liked was you can do this thing where you supercharge your FSD at Jackson's Lighthouse. And I think, is there a station in that system? Or no, you get a fleet carrier there. So then you land it.
So that's what I did.
Yeah, so you land it, and then you get it transferred to the start line.
You land your supercharged ship on a fleet carrier, and then the fleet carrier goes to the starting system. So you start with a 300 light year jump.
Yeah, bingo. I think that's really funny. I always picture, like, when you can do it like transfer as well. And I always picture the guys, like, down in the loading bay that are transferring your ship going, hey, Dave, why is this ship buzzing like that? Because it's basically sitting there full of neutron supercharge waiting to go. It's really funny.
So
you have racing planned for DW3 as well, don't you? Aside from the time trials and things that we're doing, you've got plans, I guess.
Yeah, I wanted to take part in the time trials. I suggested turning it into a league by awarding points to certain leaderboard positions.
Okay, so I haven't announced this yet, but I already have the spreadsheet and I already have the points for race 1.
I didn't do the launch system one, so
yeah. So I decided not to count those. I decided I would. Well, 2 reasons I didn't count them. One, I figured that was like practice, and the other thing is there's loads of people who weren't on DW3 that turned up to have a go, like all the usual suspects from the elite racers, and Buckyball decided to come and dominate the leaderboard, and I felt that was a bit unfair given that they weren't on DW3. So I'm discounting that one. But I have a spreadsheet already, and it includes the Great Wall of China.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of time, so I only did one run, and it turned out pretty decent in the end. Well, while I was driving, I had a lot of trouble with the landings. So I was mostly trying to stay in the center, because I thought that if I was on one of the slopes, then I would go uncontrollably in a direction that I don't want to go. But I've read the discussions afterwards in the channel in Discord that apparently that would have been the better move to go on the slopes.
Yeah, so I did like 3 or 4 runs on it, I think. And the first one I did exactly the same as you. I thought I'll stay in the center, it looks nice and smooth. And it turns out the center is lethal because because it's smooth, so you can't get any decent bounces and you can't get any altitude to get away from the ground. And B, it's got this very gentle like curve to it, like a yeah, I'm doing it with my hand, but that's not helping the listeners at all. It's just got this very gentle curve, like you're trying to, there's this is a weird reference that about 10% of the listeners will get. There's a scene in the Italian Job, the original, where they're driving the minis through a sewer, and because it's curved, it just oscillates and gets wildly out of control and doesn't want to go in a straight line.
Oh,
And it's a bit like that. It's a bit like that. You
wow,
drive the
that's
SRV,
rough.
and it doesn't want to go straight. It really does not want to go straight down that. So yeah, if the secret to that Great Wall.
I
was
thought
the-
based on your hand gestures, you were going to reference back to like, what do you call him? Tommy, what's his name? Tommy fucking, who's the comedian, man? The magician. Oh my God, I forget his name.
Tommy
I
Cooper.
thought, Tommy Cooper. I thought you were going to go like this, like that. Like with the hand gestures. And...
But yeah, you're right. The secret to that was to get into the rough on the side, and then you can get some decent bounces off it.
But the Great Wall is tough to learn SRV flying in general because
Yeah.
you've got the high gravity, so you have a lot less time to adjust mid-air to kind of set up for your next bounce. And then you've also got several changes of direction where if you do have speed, then you have to figure out how to make sure to go around the bend. And then at the end, you also have the pit that has a sideways slope where you have to
That
fly that over
sideways
again.
slope's a nightmare.
It's horrible, yeah, because it wants to steer you away from where you're actually wanting to go. So you
Yeah.
need to kind of counter that, and it's quite difficult.
Yeah, we'll do some more on the expedition. I think that was quite a hard one to start with, but yeah,
Oh,
we'll
yeah,
do
for
some,
sure.
do some straight ones.
There was also some parts that were just full of rocks, so you had to fly over.
It's really nice though. I really
I mean,
like that
I've,
you can see it from space, and
So I've got a question.
Oh,
now,
yeah,
and
for
I've got to
sure.
bring it back to the Odyssey thing. The changes with Odyssey. When you're looking for, 'cause I know obviously in flight and in space. Well, I guess in flight you've got your canyon races still. Are you looking for terrain features in a raceway, or is it more of just like you find something where you're like, that's like a 3-mile run that could be fun for people to drive around, and then you just start to notice these things as you run races through them? Which comes first?
so for me, one of the biggest disappointments for me with Odyssey terrain is that there aren't many surprises in it. I would say almost none, in fact.
So that's what I was curious, because you bring up the slope, and I'm like, that's one of the things that bugs me so much about it, is just like, there's nowhere I'm going to drive into a 89-degree cliff anymore. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, but you do get surprises, like the Great Wall of China, and that whole area around that was lovely because, like I say, you get these very distinct features that are visible from space, and there's basically a track that's a perfect width track to drive an SRV along, and yeah, it was really nice actually. And some of the places Ghost Giraffe has found are really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just set up the Rendezvous Rally 2 race, which is a straight line sprint. And it kind of showcases several of the things we talked about today because it's got some rough patches of terrain and some flat patches. So again, on the flat patches, you have to figure out how to keep those bounces going. But luckily, the rough patches are kind of at the start, so you can build up speed there to get ready for that. And then it also has a few of those rocks that can stop you in your tracks. And it's got some exobiology, which is funny because I actually got stuck in some of those space cacti today, where it did stop me entirely in my tracks, but it's funny enough, it did really no damage. So it's kind of different than the rocks, but it can still screw up your run. So that'll go live tomorrow when the event runs.
Nice. So what's the plan for the weekend with DW3 and racing? Silence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I actually I don't have a lot of info at this point. I also didn't pay
Okay.
attention to Discord in the last couple of days. But I think Yanni does have some locations scouted. Yeah, I guess we will know more tomorrow. There's gonna be stuff happening again. On the Sunday.
Yeah, last Sunday
I just
was
don't have
crazy.
any details.
I couldn't make it. But,
This is the one part where I'm like, I'm afraid to join voice chats because I'm not organizing. I'm not looking for things. I am the ultra casual this time around because I've been out of the universe for a couple years. I'm just coming back into it because of all of this, and I'm basically getting the new player experience at this point for what is Odyssey, and so it's like I can talk about this stuff from 5 years ago. I have no idea what's happening tomorrow though, but I think
But this is a great thing.
That's
anybody can really join because there's some competitive races, there's some complete casuals, but it's just about hanging out together and driving some SRVs. That's really, and flying ships through canyons. It doesn't really matter how well versed you are or how good you are. It's just about having fun together.
Yeah, that's my point. Is even though I'm going to be allowed to come in here and people hear my terrible, concrete mixer voice. I'm still learning and hearing things, and it's exciting and interesting. And I hope that other people out there listening are also excited about all this stuff, and they feel that they're comfortable in being able to participate in it. There is no restriction on you haven't been here long enough, or we don't know who you are. It's just like just join, just do it, have fun, do it.
Oh yeah. Everyone's like welcomed and welcoming in, and we definitely foster that that mindset, right?
Even just getting into a Scorpion and just cruising along, maybe even to some music to the destination is a great time. It doesn't even have to be a race.
I think I really like hill climbs actually, because hill climbs have that nice kind of thing of it doesn't even need to
They're
be
extra
fast.
serene, yeah.
But it's like it can be a challenge as well. Just which route do you pick to get to the top, and so I think hill climbs are nice.
Yeah. Also seeing the others tumbling down the hill while you try this.
Yeah, and then you get the bonus when you all get to the top. You can all hurl yourself off, and that's fun too.
I actually think that's what this expedition brings. A lot of us just play solo. This has been so long in solo, 10+ years, and the expedition kind of allows it to open up with a group of people who are like-minded, and so I kind of concur with that. Everybody try to get out there and meet other people, especially if you're always playing solo like myself.
It's funny, because I more or less play exclusively open, and I've had more random encounters in 2 weeks in a private group, on DW3 than I have an open, because obviously we're all condensed into we're all in the same place. So it's really lovely. You take off on the fleet carrier and there's just all these hollow squares, and I love it.
Yeah,
really nice.
Just today I landed at VR's one of VR's TT races, and there was somebody else there doing a run, and we did a run together. It was really fun.
It's amazing. That's
just
so
like
cool.
Random encounters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because normally that's the thing with these time trial races that we've got dozens of them around the bubble now. But unless it's an organised weekend like with the elite races, you never meet anybody. You sort of decide, I think I'll go and do so and so time trial today. You're never going to meet anybody there. But on DW3, it's the opposite. It's wonderful. Like you go down to the start line and there's somebody else just lining up as well. That's amazing.
Yeah, I did see one when I finished my Great Wall of China run. When I took off with my ship, there suddenly was a signal on my radar.
The other thing I tried, so this is a bit off topic, but like the thing of just sort of hanging out with people, and I might try it more next week. Actually, is so when I'm at work, I don't know. I just like to I like to have something on in the background to be distracted. So there's a general voice chat, isn't there, in the FleetCon? And I can't remember which day it was, Wednesday or something. I thought, oh, I'll just hang in there. There was nobody else, but I just. And after about an hour, somebody joined us, and then somebody else joined us, and we were just having this really nice conversation. And I think DW3 has
Yeah, we
been
should
really good for that.
do that more often.
Yeah,
Just someone has to go in there first to
Yeah.
sign a signal that they are there. That this is a thing.
But to me, this is really the strength of Distant Worlds 3. Like, I've always been a solo explorer. I've never been on any expeditions. So I decided that when I was going to go on Distant Worlds 3, I was going to participate in, as many events as I could and talk to as many people as I could. And it's been incredible so far. It's really fun.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you've ended up
100% agree.
organising stuff, which is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, because I'd just gotten into racing, I was just wondering how many races were organized for Distant Worlds 3, because obviously I wasn't aware of any events. So I asked Yannick if I could, just run some SRV races. He's like, oh, sure, why not? And I even asked around in the Elite Races Discord, like, who of you guys are going to go on Distant Worlds 3, because then I would try and pull them into it as well. And back then, people were still very ambivalent about going. Like as many people have things going on in the bubble, so they didn't really want to commit and all that. And that's why, even despite me being, a relative newbie, I decided to go and try and set up some races, and it's been really fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of those. I was not committed until like 1 or 2 weeks before, and I don't. Yeah, I just sort of got sucked in. I was joking on live radio that I feel like I've been kidnapped because I didn't really know how far the fleet carriers were going to go in those first 2 weeks, and so I had this image of, oh, if I get bored, if it's not for me, I can just jump off and head back. And then I logged in the middle of this week, and it was like, Jesus Christ, how far have they taken us? There's no going back now.
Off now, yeah.
I guess I'm along for the ride.
Yep, another
It's
4
funny
months of your
because
life.
since then, yeah, and you're not the only one because so many people have signed up over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on launch day itself. It was by far the most amount of commanders signing up on a single day.
Yeah, I really feel for like you guys and for the organisers of this, because you've spent months going, here's the sign up form, sign up nice and early, and then nobody listens to you, and then a week before everyone's like, oh, I
Yeah,
might
we
go,
had
and
this
then
early rush of all the usual people that were still playing. That were like, oh, this is what, just sign up.
Documentation, so we're all asking the same question over and over again.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
For.
Of the questions.
Yeah.
Space.com did a big article the day of, and it was pretty well. I mean, Space.com is a pretty big website, and they highlighted the jump. So I think you got a lot of people after that.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah. Even though I had to ask them to make a correction about the article, which they did, thankfully.
Oh, that's cool.
What was the correction?
But they were they were. It was actually kind of minor. It was about the length of the expedition being like 3 months instead of 4, but it's gonna be 4 months. And that is kind of, you have to manage expectations for people, because that's kind of a commitment, and 1 month is a big difference.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I must admit, I thought it was 3. Not that it mattered, I cared that much, but yeah. So it's definitely that's interesting. I've heard 3 somewhere else as well.
But yeah, I haven't even looked at the sign-up numbers recently. Let's check how many players are signed up right now, signed up and confirmed.
I don't know how many pending there are, because I haven't touched the website the last 2 days. So
I can check how many are pending though. So 8,310 players for a total of 8,526 commanders. which is already impressive.
Incredible.
Now let's see, registration administration.
But you actually have
Let's
access
see
to
how
that?
many are pending. Yeah, but I can look at it, but I'm not gonna do anything. 122 pending applications.
Yeah, okay, that's not many. If in the weeks leading up to launch, I had over 100 every single day. Like I would go to before I went to bed. I had like maybe 80 or something, and then the next morning I have another 80 or sometimes more even.
God.
Yeah, fortunately you don't have to do this forever because there's gonna be a cutoff date.
Yeah, it's 2 more weeks. It's, after Valentine's
I
was
Day.
gonna say, like,
Getting
with
along
the,
a lot less now.
with the carriers, with the carrier, 40,000 light year segment over, I'd think maybe another week or two, and you can just be like, if you're not here, you're not here.
Yeah.
I was going to
Yeah,
ask
it's quite
about that
good.
because if you look at the FleetCom group, there's 12,000 people in the FleetCom group, but you're saying there's 8,000 signed up. Are those people who are just kind of popping into the FleetCom group, not part of the expedition, or?
Well, the FICOM group existed before the expedition.
Yeah, it's old. I mean, FleetCom was here around for DW2 as well, wasn't it? So it's
Yeah,
still-
no, I think even for the
And
first
that's
one.
when we literally broke the Frontier servers on that first launch day
Yeah.
because they didn't expect to have to load a whole. They didn't expect to have to load a single system for something like 3,000 people at once. In that
And
first
so also
jump.
the Discord stopped. The voice chats in Discord also stopped working because there were so many people in them.
Yeah. Yeah, we tested the internet itself.
It was much smoother this time, but there was a lot of
Yeah,
confusion
this
with the carrier schedules. That was the main problem.
There's the new stuff that I'm still not totally aware of. I still feel like I'm a little bit on the outside, but you've got, what are you guys calling them? Flotillas? And there's like 100 flotillas that are basically, 20 to 50 people in your time zone that you can always meet up with that are going to be online at your time,
No, that was
It's
just
like-
for the
But
jump. That was
that's
just for organizing the initial jump. So we we have a bunch of volunteers, and we could group people to these volunteers. So instead of building one massive instance that is unstable for everyone, we built like 8 smaller ones. We had 50 people each, and then anyone who was left over, then the people got a form in which they could organize additional jump instances. That's what the flotilla thing was about.
Yeah.
Shout out. That worked incredibly well, by the way. That did work incredibly well, and they were on point, all your volunteers, so I want to thank them.
Yeah, except one person who sadly had real life issues coming up and couldn't notify us in time.
Yeah,
But someone
overall,
else
though,
stepped up and managed that instance, so...
But yeah, but voice channels are still kind of populated every day. There's always someone in there.
There's an Imperial
In the
Eagle
community
staring me
frontier
down.
Come again?
Oh, it flew off. And I see a chieftain in the distance and a Manalay hanging out. And something's landed on the carrier.
This is fun. While we've been talking, I've been keeping my eye on the leaderboard for the time trial, the Canyon Run time trial, because there's an external website where you can watch the leaderboards. and I'm just seeing people start to have a go at it. It's really nice. So we've got, I'm going to give shout outs to Quatshoid, Spaghetti 17 and Calantha for the first customers on the Rendezvous Raceway.
Yo, go.
How long is the course?
All right.
Distance-wise,
Top
you mean?
3 times of that.
No, time-wise.
Well, let's see. It's, about 3.5 minutes. It's
Oh, that's
about
a shorter
average, I
one.
think. It's only 1 lap.
Yeah, it's very fun. Even like if it didn't bring any racing ships, just grab any ship that you have and just run it.
Oh
It's
yeah,
very
I
fun.
definitely wanted to mention it because
Oh,
I've seen a few comments in the Discord, people saying, "Oh, I wish I'd brought a racing ship." It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
I
So,
didn't
so
I
for
didn't
example,
bring one. I didn't bring one either. I was prepared to SRV race.
Yeah. So it doesn't subdivide, but look at it like this: like Calantha has just done it in a Mandalay. It's he's currently in 4th
Yeah, I don't even
place.
have a Mandalay with
But-
me. I
But that's the
have
fastest Mandalay. Whatever you race in, whatever ship you've got,
my
you
alt
can at least
has
look at the leaderboard and go,
a
"I'm the
Caspian.
fastest Cobra."
Has a
or, "I'm the
Caspian, a
fastest
Type
Caspian."
8, and a Type 11, and a hauler. And
Mhm.
also my alt has only FSD engineering, so there's no thruster engineering.
There you go. The hauler, and then you can be the fastest hauler on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Definitely
could do
same
that.
for me. Most of my ships are only engineered on FSD, and yeah, most of them are cargo oriented or something like that. I guess my most agile ship would be the Corsair, but I would try it in my Caspian first.
Yeah, don't let that put you off.
All right, this
that you
sounds like
haven't got a
something I
racing
need to
ship.
join. Bring out my Panther Clipper Mark II, the fastest one at 200 meters a second.
Yo, you're gonna burn them off.
That would
Hey,
be
I
funny,
have
racing
once-
a Panther Clipper around this.
I have once been
make a video of that.
participating in a buckyball race with an Orca. And the
Yeah.
Orca named
I was gonna
after
bring that up.
named after
Nug-
Cheng, and
Nuggy's record Orca with my name on it.
and I was beaten by a Type 9.
Incredible.
He managed
Does
to
anyone remember
manipulate
those
our
old,
desktop pad into sitting on Dr. Nagi's head. What?
Remember those old Type
Alec.
9 races? Yeah.
I have never done one of these time trials before. Would you care to explain how to use ED Copilot for
Yes. Yeah,
doing
good-
the race?
Good
I'm
point.
just
good
launching
point.
it. Just 1 second.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, I'll talk for the viewers, and hopefully it's useful for you as well.
Yeah.
So ED Copilot, if you haven't got it already, is a really cool little third-party app. It does loads. It tells you about exobiology, and it tells you where the nearest, module, any module you like, nearest cargo is, nearest interstellar factors. It's got so much built into it. The guy that developed it, Razafrag, is a VR user, so he originally wanted something that would help him do stuff when he was wearing, a headset. So it uses speech a lot. It integrates with voice attack, and it speaks to you a lot. Now, one of the first things that some people find when they install it, which puts them off, is that there's all these NPCs using all sorts of different languages and voice packs talking in the background of space stations and ships, and it's really cool what he's done. They talk about things like the latest Galnet news article and stuff, but for a lot of people it's a bit much. So there are a wealth of settings, and you can it's called space chatter, and you can turn all that off. So the first thing is, if you find there's too much like chattering going on of various voices, then just turn it all off. Thing's called space chatter. It tends to swear at you a lot. If you don't like swearing, you can turn profanity off. And if it just generally tends to be a bit too chatty to you, then there's a thing called business mode somewhere in the settings where it just tells you the things you need to know. So that's ED Copilot. And then there's a bunch of, in its user interface, there's a bunch of tabs across the top, one of which is places. And if you pick places, there's then a bunch of tabs down the left-hand side, and the bottom one says time trials. And if you click on that, it will show you the list of all the current time trials that that we've got in ED Copilot. They're sorted on distance from you. So the ones that are close to you will be at the top, and the ones that are, most of them are back in the bubble, will be down the bottom if you're on DW3. So all you do, you just pick a time trial you like the look of. If you click it from that list, it then takes you to a page which shows you the leaderboard and a brief description of what the time trial is. And in the top right of that, there's a little play button, a little triangular play button. And you click that and you're basically off and running. And what ED Copilot will do is it'll basically talk to you. So it'll talk you down to where the start line is. If you're in the wrong system, then it will automatically open the galaxy map, type in the name of the system that the time trial is in, and plot a route, and then close the galaxy map again. So you start a time trial, and it will literally just open the map and plot a route there for you. And then from the minute you arrive in the system, there's spoken instructions. So it'll tell you to go to planet 1B, and then when you get within orbital cruise of planet 1B, there's text that I've authored into this particular time trial that will tell you to look out for a bit of cracked mud, like terrain, and there's this thing called the guidance computer, which is like a little mini bar that appears at the top. So you need to run your elite border lists so that these little overlays can appear over the top of it. But that little mini bar will have a big arrow and a heading, a direction bearing, and you basically just follow that arrow down to the start line. And then from there, you'll get some instructions about, you should start the race facing east or whatever, or facing a heading of 175 degrees, head on down the valley, that kind of thing. And then we've just created loads of gates by putting coordinates into a big long list for the time trial. And as you pass through those coordinates, it registers that because it's reading the journal the whole time. And then it will give you the next instruction, and so on and so on. And when you pass the finishing line, it's timed the whole thing, so it will automatically then add your time to a leaderboard. So it's all very automated and very slick.
It's really added such a cool element to racing in Elite, because you can make a race pretty much anywhere. You can do it on foot, you can do it in SRV, in ships. You can combine all three.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's neat. One thing to watch out for, and I'm particularly bad at this. So the instructions that it reads out, that's part of, like, when I create a time trial and I put coordinates in of where the gates are, I write these instructions. So I might say something like, head down the valley and then do a sharp right at the end. And the trouble is, because there's a bit of lag in the whole system, Elite takes a little bit of time to update the journal, and ED Copilot takes a little bit of time to read the journal. Quite often the gates trigger quite late, so they'll trigger after you've passed through the point where the coordinates were. There'll be this lag. So, and then it has to turn the text into spoken words, and obviously the algorithm to do that takes a little bit of time as well, as a result of which all the instructions often tend to trigger quite late. So what I would advise, particularly with something like the one I've just dropped, which is this Rendezvous Raceway, which has a lot of gates and a lot of bends in it, is to fly it very slowly to start with. And because when you're kind of at racing speed, when you're boosting around this course in an Eagle, the instructions are going to be way too late. So you need to sort of know the course by that point. So the instructions are really there to help you learn the course. So fly it slow, and the instructions will kind of be relevant. But once you're at racing speed, the instructions are probably going to come too late. But you should know it by then. How's that?
Very good. That was helpful.
How's that?
Thanks. I know how to use it. I didn't even know where to find them, actually.
Yeah, it's razafrag.com. I think Razafrag's the developer.
No, I mean, I've been using
the time
Copilot,
trials.
but I haven't. Yeah, now I know where to find them.
There's loads now. It's amazing how that list has grown.
Sorry,
Yeah.
but
I
as
believe so
someone,
many across the galaxy.
Yeah, I quite like that.
as someone who recently saw the Bone Temple, how's that has a very different meaning to what it used to.
Okay, I've not seen it yet.
Neither have I.
The other thing I'd say, one other little word of warning, this may have improved, but what I found, so the other thing with ED Copilot and the little user interface that it's got is it works really nicely if you've got a second monitor, but you can also, I've only got a single monitor, so you can have a hotkey to bring that user interface to the front or send it to the back. And what was I going to say? One thing I've noticed is that by default, when you install it, it tries to, every time you interact with that user interface, it tries to give focus back to Elite again. So the idea is if it's on a second screen and you start moving your mouse onto that screen and you start clicking on buttons in ED Copilot, that would normally steal focus from Elite. So ED Copilot is furiously trying to give focus back to Elite again. And that can actually make the user interface feel quite sluggish. It may have been improved a lot since those early days. And again, there's loads of settings, and I can't remember where it is. There'll be UI settings, I think, but there's a setting to stop it doing that. So if you're running on a single screen where you don't need it to be giving focus back to Elite all the time because you're going to do that manually with a hotkey, then if you turn that stuff off, the user interface becomes a lot more nimble, I find.
I think this is what turns Copilot from a good application to a great application. Like, there's so many things in it, but it's also so customizable. If you don't like anything, you can probably turn it off on.
I just wanted to point
There's
out
a wiki as well these days.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out I was having issues with focus with ED Market Connector and running it as administrator because I have my PC locked down pretty well. As soon as I ran the application as administrator, the overlay worked correctly, but until I did that, it was not overlaying. It would always have a focus issue.
Interesting. There's a really good Discord for it. I mean, there's thousands of users now, so I think Razafrag is probably a bit swamped, but he's really responsive, and it's a really good community in that Discord. So it's linked
people
on the
there
website.
are also very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's really good. The annoying thing with the way ED Copilot works for racing, and because it reads from the journal, is Elite actually only writes, like it writes your current coordinates, for example, to the journal, which is how this all works, because it's how it knows where you are and when you've gone through a gate and that kind of thing. But it only does that about once a second, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit quicker than that, once every half a second or something. But if you picture say a canyon that's got a right angle turn, and you put a gate right on the corner, you can imagine that, like in something like a Viper or an Eagle going at 800 meters a second, it's entirely possible that Elite will sample your coordinate just before you hit the corner, and then the next sample might, a second later, might be after you've gone around the corner and are heading off in the other direction. So as far as ED Copilot's concerned, you've cut the corner because it only sees those 2 points. So you have to be quite careful designing courses, particularly for ships, to not put gates on corners because it's very easy for the person running the time trial to miss them.
Good to know for those who want to create their own time trials.
Yeah. Beware, and generally, I'd make gates wider than you think they need to be. You obviously don't want people to not go the way you intended, but generally, I used to make gates very precise, but I tend to make them really quite wide now. It's nothing worse than missing a gate. It's really
I
annoying.
was gonna pop in and say, the way you're describing this, it sounds like a rally, like the rally car co-pilot who's like, 100 meters, turn right, 10 degrees.
Yeah. I
Shallow
keep meaning,
dip, turn left, 50 degrees.
Yeah. I keep meaning to like Google the all the sort of language for that, because they've got their own terse little right 50. There's numbers, aren't there, that tell you?
Yeah, it's all about like speed, turn angle, something. There's one part that's like about like the texture and grip of the ground. It's like all
Yeah,
kinds of
yeah.
weird. It's a bunch of weird information that's really fastly thrown at them, but they know it, so it works.
I feel like it'd be quite fun
But
to do
it's
a
one of
race
those things
I
where
use
it's like,
that.
if you watch from inside, they'll give an instruction, and you're just watching the camera like nothing's happening, and then 10 seconds later the guy jerks the steering wheel, and you're like, oh, he knew because that guy said something 10 seconds ago that this was coming.
If you played rally racing games, you have that too, and you'll learn that pretty quickly. And yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
in the early Colin McRae games, you could actually set how early you get those instructions.
That's quite nice. Because I guess that's a skill. I don't know, but I imagine that the sort of the bond between the driver and his co-pilot is probably quite close. They probably know each other really well, and the co-pilot knows exactly.
They have to, yeah, for
but
sure.
from what, but Chang, it sounds like you don't have tried ED Copilot yet, have you?
I have literally just booted up my game, and I have just installed it. There is a woman talking in my other ear to me.
Yes.
About reading my information and telling me stuff about my ship that I already know.
One thing I really like is when you're traveling, it tells you about jumps and fuel, which I really like. It says things like the next star on your route is scoopable, but the 3 after it are not. So you might want to top your tank up and stuff like that. It's really quite handy.
That's slick.
Yeah. You can set up all the stuff she tells you about in the settings, and if you explore the settings, you explore. It's something to explore, so it's ideal for explorers.
Yeah, it tells you about how many exobiology signals you found in the system, like geology signals as well, although I've turned that one off. But yeah, it tells you about a lot of exploration stuff as well. It's quite useful.
Yeah, there's loads of good apps out there. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously it was the
look
time
at that,
trial feature
like-
that really jumped out at me for ED Copilot, but it's been great for other things too.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
you know,
everyone
10
focuses on you.
10 years of the game's existence has really led to just about every single avenue of, you know, what's not served in the game is served in a third party app somehow, right?
Yeah, it's such a great community. Do people use ED HUD mod? I think that's a hell of a piece of work as well, actually.
Yeah.
So as we get quite late into the episode, are there any questions from the audience? You may post them into the YouTube chat or into the chat of the stage channel in Distant Radio Discord. And now's your time.
Yeah, I trust you have been keeping an eye on the YouTube chat.
A little bit, yeah.
Yes and no. I keep forgetting.
It's not too much. So the couple people have posted into the chat. I haven't seen any question yet.
There was a thing about EDSM way back because we were talking about the planetary circumnavigation badge that you can still get, and yeah, EDSM is still going out. It doesn't. I think it's one of the less used third-party things these days, but it's still, you know, Inara rather took over. But yeah, EDSM is still there.
Yeah, quiet in the background for everyone. Amaritha is asking just for fun, what's your favorite fizzy drink? My favorite fizzy drink is energy drink.
Oh god, no, I can't stand energy.
It's the only fizzy drink.
Ginger beer.
Am I allowed to say cider?
Ginger beer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cider.
I didn't think
there
about
is
alcoholic beverage.
Sommersby is a Danish apple cider. That one I like.
Yeah, I think cider's my favorite fizzy drink.
For Alec,
okay, so I think I found it because this is the thing that I was confused. On ED Copilot, you click it on places up at the top, and then on the left side that scrolls, there's a thing for time trials.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's your time trials window. I've got DW3 Rendezvous, Butte and Bastion, and Roundabout, and Rendezvous Raceway. All three of them listed right here.
There you go. And then if you click on them, you get you can see the leaderboards for each one.
SRV, and ship. So yeah, so it even tells you what you're going to be driving or what you might consider doing it. I'm going to go do an SRV run on foot. How about that?
I think
won't
you
let
can't
you,
apply the
unfortunately.
handbrake on foot. That's a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a question for Alec. How's it feel knowing you're committed to a long distance trip?
Do you know what? It's funny. I was I was sort of going through a lull. I mean, I play Elite almost every day, but I was kind of running out of things to do in the bubble, and what I'd ended up doing, well, you can see that massive list of time trials. Each morning, I'd basically look at the list and go, which one am I furthest down the leaderboard on, and then I'll go back there and see if I can do any better. And I still really enjoyed it, but it was becoming a bit monotonous, to be honest. Like just time trials and a little bit of I've got a colonization, but yeah. So my motivation was quite low, and actually, I'm really excited about DW3. I feel really energized. This idea of kind of racing ahead of the expedition just a little bit, so that I can have a time trial ready for when people arrive. I'm really hyped about that. I'm sort of enjoying the hell out of that. So yeah, it's nice. I joked about being kidnapped, but it's a good kidnapping so far.
Yeah. Also,
Because
have you answered the favorite drink question?
Me? Cider was mine.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, good choice. Did Greaves answer?
My go-to would probably be sugar-free iced tea. The fizzy
Sugar-free
one.
iced tea, but fizzy. Okay.
Can you get fizzy iced tea?
Okay,
Wow.
I'm not gonna judge.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the fizzy Lipton iced tea can be quite nice now and then, but I prefer it with sugar.
Does anyone know what bubble tea is? I confess I've never had it.
Does anyone know?
Yeah, it's
I know what it is, so I've never had it.
Okay.
It's got
It's
those
not
beans
fizzy.
in it, isn't it?
It's
yeah,
this,
beans are tapioca.
it's this
tapioca.
this
Not
tea
tapioca.
kind of thing that has these little balls inside
Okay.
of that you
So
can.
it's not air
so-
bubbles.
No.
Okay.
So it's something you can like pick and choose, mix stuff, kind of teas and these little balls. Usually are tapioca or some little fruity gels or something like that. I never tried them with balls. I just drank the tea whenever I was invited to a bubble tea.
Like anything else that tastes fantastic, it's terrible for you. They got a lot of sugar and stuff, but they taste great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember there was
Johnny Flash
the
answered.
news of health concerns about these things. There was this trend coming up with a bubble tea, and we suddenly got bubble tea shops everywhere. We just spring out of the ground everywhere, and then a bit later, then the health concerns came up, and then they all vanished again, except for a few that stayed. But it was quite interesting to see.
I have a question from the DW3 Racing Events channel in FleetCon, which made me chuckle. It says, would it be possible for one of the carriers to be put over 1B, because flying 700 light years every time I fuck up is going to get old real quick?
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
It's a bit difficult because when we if we move those carriers? It's a different system.
No, it's in Rendezvous Point.
Oh, it's in the same system. Okay, because if it's in a different system, then a lot of people are gonna complain that why is a carrier here?
Yeah, no, I
why is it not
wouldn't.
where
Can
it's
you move?
supposed to
I
be?
haven't got a fleet carrier. Can you move a fleet carrier within a system?
Yeah, you
Or
should
have to jump
you
out
should
and
be
back?
able to. Yeah. Well, I have to ask around if someone wants to. Probably Zorya, because
Yeah.
Zorya is a bit of the expedition mom.
Right, get the Pillar of Chista parked over the time trial for people that keep blowing up. That's funny. I guess it's
Yeah,
worth
Johnny
saying.
Flatter.
Sorry, I was just going to say. I guess it's worth saying yet again. This probably can't be said often enough that if you've transferred ships, particularly in this case racing ships, to any of the fleet carriers and haven't yet taken them off and landed them back on the fleet carrier again, I strongly advise doing so, because although it's not 100% proved one way or the other, there is a chance that if you transferred a ship to one of the DW3 fleet carriers from when it was back at the start point, and you take off in your racing ship and fly down to this race and blow up on one of the corners, then you could find yourself back in the bubble, which would be horrifying. So yeah, just make sure you land those ships back on the fleet carrier before doing anything dangerous, I think.
Yep.
Always dock
I'm
at
right
the
in
cla-
saying
at
we
the
haven't
carrier.
What
really
is
managed
that
to prove
dinner?
it.
Jay Greaves has posted a. It looks like Yorkshire pudding in the middle, and then
Yeah, it is.
meats,
Yeah, that's a
potatoes.
Sunday roast at the best
Sun-
roast and burger place I've ever been to.
God, that
Sunday
looks good.
roast at the Scranners. Oh my god! Like
That looks so good.
I should show you what I had for my birthday. Hold on, I'm gonna grab my phone and.
Now we're talking
Right,
food. Oh
possible.
god, guys.
Yeah.
Six
Why not?
bro.
I'm
Sorry,
about to
I'm
make
sorry,
dinner
Nobody
as
can
well,
see
so.
when listening to the
Sorry,
recording
but
of this.
any conversation I'm involved in is 6 degrees of separation from Scran, and that's.
I mean, given the topic of the podcast, we should at least talk fast food, right? Well, I don't know if any fast food share with you, unfortunately.
There you go. Oh, I have audio on my phone now. That's a bit annoying. How can I? Oh god, my Discord
But
got
yeah,
confused
nobody can
because I
see
had
that on the recording of
opened
the
this channel.
podcast, so we shouldn't talk
Caramelized red
about
cabbage. Yeah.
It's too late now, but it's
Nagi,
just
you have to
occurred to
put
me
them on
we really
stream.
should. We really should have had the camera for this podcast pointing at one of the crater walls.
What
canyon
carrier
walls
am
of
I
the
live
Raytary.
streaming? Don't know. Don't remember. I have to check.
I could see people blowing up.
Odysseus.
Fuck, Nagi doesn't know which carrier he's on.
Yeah, I remember I had to change it. I was originally
Now
on
he's
the
on
on
the
the
Odysseus,
Distant
okay.
Suns, but I had to get off because the Distant Suns was going to Colonia and had to stay in system. So someone ferried me over to the Odysseus apparently. Yeah.
Yes, foot. All right, true. But yeah, are there any other actually pressing questions for Alec or Greaves regarding racing or buckyballing or anything else?
Everyone's just kind of, where do I get this Scran from?
Favorite food? No.
Yeah.
You've made everybody hungry
Yeah,
now, so you
what's your
think about
favorite
food.
food?
What's
your favorite brand of toothpaste?
I have to take a
Don't
very
even
specific
what brand I
toothpaste
use.
actually, which the test is. Or was it this kind of this flash repair thing? Because acid is eating away at my my jaw flesh, or what you call it. So I have to take a special toothpaste to counter that.
Your gums.
Sounds like necromancy or something.
Yeah, I can't really describe it
Language
in English.
barrier,
Sorry.
I love it.
No worries.
Zahnfleisch. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
someone, any real questions? We're approaching the 2-hour mark. So, unless there's, Zahnfleisch, exactly. I love the German language. It's so,
Oh, here we go. Johnny Flash 80 says,
I don't know
will
what
there
the word
be a
in English is for it.
Sidewinder themed race at some point?
I'm cutting.
Oh yeah, we have to do a Sidewinder race because we got a couple of Outlanders on here, right? And they only have Sidewinders. Or wait, some of them have other ships too, but I know at least some people have
Yeah, that's
Sidewinders
Doppler
only.
ships.
I don't have one.
So as I
with me
mentioned,
currently.
the ship time trials, although they're not, I don't think there's a way of restricting them to just one type of ship. You can always go and fly your Sidewinder in any of the ship time trials and try to be the fastest Sidewinder on the leaderboard. That's a valid pursuit.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
What's
Yeah, so
Can't- I-
Sidewinder race is happening. Nice.
Yeah, I can't use one thing I don't think ED Copilot supports yet is you can't have races specific to ship launch fighters, which is a shame actually. So a ship launch fighter can't take part in a ship race or an SRV race, obviously.
That makes sense. It's like because they're so fucking nimble. That's
Yeah.
just outrageously overpowered for it.
Yeah, although they did, I don't know if I think you'd lose quite a few smashing into the walls on the corners.
Well, yeah, because for top speed they're not so great, but for mobility definitely. Yeah, it would just confuse matters because.
Do you know what? We've got 4 months. I'll hassle Razafrag and see if I can get him to implement ship launch fighter time trials because I think that would be fun.
Brought my Type 11 for 2 reasons. One is mining. The second reason is ship launch fighters.
It's a bit of an odd one, right?
Nice.
Why does it have fighter pay?
Well, I would assume that
Well-
it's because when you're mining, you can deploy the ship launch fighter to presumably defend you.
Yeah, but
You know, in theory,
Because-
in theory, in theory, in theory, in theory, in theory.
yeah. Alright.
Well,
Strong
Anyway.
We're
caveat.
going to get a ship launch fighter.
Anyway,
that's mining vessels.
I got places to be, so we are at the 2-hour mark, so we're gonna wrap it up here.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I'll take this moment to promote my
yeah.
set. I'm about to go live at 9 o'clock, and I'll be playing a bunch of 80s tunes. Get ready for a nostalgia trip of a lifetime. Yeah, I'll hand the rest back to you guys.
All right, I'm gonna count down from 3, so you can connect after I click disconnect.
I'm not
immediately
going
for a
to do
smooth
that.
take.
I'm not that bothered about that continuity. I don't really care. I'll go live when we log off. It's fine.
Alright. Poor Auto DJ has to step in for a few seconds. All right, but yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. It was a nice little chat about racing stuff I haven't ever really talked about before because racing wasn't really anything for me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to any kinds of races happening during the expedition. Yeah, any parting words from you?
Just yeah, thanks for having us on. I think it's been really fun to talk about it. It's great to see. It's great to see racing getting some interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us on, and thanks for the expedition, for everybody organizing it because it's fantastic.
Yeah, you're welcome, and it was nice to have you. We will be back next week, same time. We have not yet quite decided on a topic, but yeah, there will
We'll
be
figure
something very
out.
interesting at least. I have a few. I've come up with a few things to improvise. Well, it's not improvising if I already planned them, but yeah. Anyway, next week. Have a good night, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye. Have a good time.
Bye.
Bye.
See you guys soon. In a bit.